So this week we're moving up from the heart chakra and a little down from the heart chakra to connect to our invincibility chakra and our uniqueness chakra. Now these two chakras are actually the lower one, the uniqueness chakra, is one that a friend of mine had told me she discovered. And when I was exploring that is when I discovered the invincibility chakra, because every chakra has a corresponding chakra above, as above, so below. And so this is more an energetic expression of a very unique energy synergy that goes on in our body. And it's moving straight from the heart chakra. So last week, as you've been connecting to your heart chakra and tuning in and getting used to tuning into how it feels, I want you to now move your energy, your consciousness from your heart chakra slightly down, about an inch down, and slightly up, about an inch up. These are the two chakras we're going to be working with this week. The one underneath your heart chakra is called, what my friend called it was the uniqueness chakra. This is where you express your uniqueness as an individual, what makes you specifically unique, your consciousness as it interacts with your programming, your body, your DNA, the storyline that you were born into. And the invincibility chakra, just about 1 inch above the heart, this is how you are invincible, how the connection between your mind and your body makes you invincible when it's connected to the universal mind, or the mind of Christ, or the heart chakra, which is the mind of Christ. The heart, as we talked about last week, is the Christ chakra. And remember, Christ means anointing. And so when you anoint something, you are setting it apart. You are saying this. You're setting it apart for a specific intention. You're saying this matters for this reason to me. And when you anoint your life, when you anoint your chakras and your whole electromagnetic system, which is what we're doing in this cleanse, we're setting it apart for the specific intention of creating heaven on earth, which means we are learning to download the program or the algorithm of abundance. And that means clearing out all the old programs that we have stored within us, in our belief system, in our DNA, literally within our body, as it's been proven that the body will physically carry memory trauma. So it's important that in order for it to feel like heaven on earth, as we've been talking about, the body itself needs to feel safe. It needs to believe it's loved. It needs to believe it's safe. It needs to understand that it's no longer in survival mode. And so as we connect to these two chakras, we're connecting to what makes us uniquely invincible. And this is directly connected to how a species will evolve and survive and develop certain mechanisms to keep them safe. And these two chakras are vital when we are setting the intention to heal the war between our heart and our mind. Because to heal that war, to truly have fellowship with our Trinity, we have to be able to integrate our physical experience, integrate the body, because the body is the most palpable expression of that conversation going on between our heart and our mind. And so when these two chakras, your invincibility chakra and your uniqueness chakra, are harmonizing, we have an expression, a very, very, very unique note, so to speak, that makes up part of heaven and is essential, just as every single part of the whole is essential to the whole. And we are all part of this creation. We are all part of this world. We're all here for a reason. We all express a unique aspect of this world, and we've all been experiencing a unique aspect of this world. And so when these two chakras are in war with each other, when we are not, in other words, when we are at war with ourselves, when the conversation between our heart and our mind is constantly threatening the body or intimidating the body, or it's that constant threat of you may not survive, you might get in trouble, you're going to get hurt, you're going to go to hell, all those energies, you're not going to have enough, all of that comes from the lack matrix, that creates a war vibe between our invincibility and our uniqueness. And really those two chakras together I like to call the tribe vibe, because these two chakras also directly connect you to your tribe. And when you are at war with what you are, specifically your uniqueness and your unique invincibility, the way you survived, which often we have issues with because we judge our past self, and maybe some of our survival mechanisms are not they're maladaptive. So it's important to be able to understand that there's a very real reason why these two chakras may be out of alignment with each other, and it's reflective of the war going on macroly. Look at where we are as a human species, fighting with each other, fighting with different philosophies, fighting with our mindset, fighting with our desires, fighting with our programming. So when we are at war with ourselves here, it reflects in the world around us as a war with our tribe. And having a war with your tribe obviously is where we are all most vulnerable. It's the same as when you grow up, if there's war in your family, if there's war between your parents, you're the most vulnerable to that war because that's your tribe or your family is where you are. It's where you're raised. It's where you get your programming. It's where you are literally fed and nourished and provided for. So it's reflective of, you could say, even our sense of God or our sense of how loved we are or how valued we are. So there's a lot that happens when we're on a micro level going to war. It's reflected on a macro level, as we talked about last week. And when we are at war with different aspects of what we are, it's reflected in our relationships. And so this week, as we work on harmonizing and healing that synergy that's occurring between our invincibility chakra and our uniqueness chakra, what we're really doing is coming to terms with who we are and learning to truly value and appreciate and actually see what we are. Because if we don't understand, first of all, if we don't understand our uniqueness, we don't really know how to employ it for the win-win-win. Because everything, when we're going from a world of lack to a world of abundance, when we're restoring the heart to itself, when we're healing the relationship between the heart and the mind, or healing humanity itself, it involves going back to an extent. We go back to the original wound and we meet the need that wasn't met in the first place. And so often the need that didn't get met is what caused us to develop our unique survival skills. We had to survive without that need being met. So when we go back to the original and we meet the need, we now have the tools and the understanding of what it's like to not have that need met. And we also have a sensitivity to that need not being met. So we can help meet that need in others by having it met within us. And the fact that we are all connected, and specifically that you're connected to your tribe, first and foremost, when you heal the energy, when you meet a need that you didn't get met, that actually caused a very specific kind of not only unique survival mechanism, but also a unique kind of wound on the planet. When you heal that, you upload that program. So you start healing it in your whole tribe. And then it's basically like a line getting cleared in your tribe so you can actually receive more. But where we have wounds that haven't been healed and needs that haven't been met, it causes us to not be able to fully connect with our tribe and fully connect with all that we are. Because ultimately our tribe, and remember when I'm using the word tribe here, I'm not necessarily speaking of your physical relationships with people, although that might be part of it. But more than anything, I'm talking about your psychic and energetic connection to your whole self, which involves aspects of you that are interdimensional, so that are not necessarily on the same plane as you, but nonetheless work for you and with you and are a part of you. And it's that aspect, it's our multidimensionality that we're actually healing, because we are multidimensional beings. And part of what's happened as we've been steeped in the 3D reality and forgotten or lost our connection to the fullness of what we are and how our power works, we've therefore had a sort of a blip in the communication with our whole self. So our whole being, our whole self has been operating only on a small aspect of what it actually is. So like I said, as we go back and meet individual needs that haven't been met, we start clearing the network, so to speak, and we start clearing the whatever is causing us to not be able to connect. And we are able to broaden our bandwidth, so to speak, and strengthen our signal. And as our signal is strengthened, other aspects of our multidimensionality then get strengthened, and our whole grid is strengthened. And in a very real way, we're lighting up a grid on the planet. If you were to look at the planet from space, there's this sort of white glow around the whole planet. And the closer you get in, if you could see magnetic energy and electric energy and the kind of energy that's used in computers, we would see there is an actual grid. If we could see the internet, so to speak, there literally is a grid that's connecting everyone. And that is, of course, everything that we create is reflective of something that we are and that we're doing. And so that grid, that's the man-made grid that we created to show us and remind us what we truly are, which is fully connected, fully supported, and that we actually have a way that our species, humanity itself, has a way of communicating and connecting with ourselves that is outside of what maybe our current understanding is. And the way we do that is by healing our relationship inside. Because remember, our whole inside is a universe in and of itself, and that universe is reflective of the external universe. So when we heal within, we heal the external. So the energy that fuels our uniqueness chakra, which is the chakra that's below the heart, this chakra is fueled by our ability to connect to ourselves without judgment. That's what makes us unique. And our uniqueness starts getting blocked, or that chakra gets closed, when we start feeling that what makes us unique is wrong or bad. So the fear of punishment. And now remember, this is right above the solar plexus, which is our sense of personal power. And the emotion that blocks the solar plexus is shame. So very similar energy there. And that's just these chakras, the invincibility and the uniqueness chakra, I see them as very small, like smaller chakras, but very powerful. Because that unique synergy of what we are, that specific unique signature is palpable in each one of us, but also has to sort of be not constrained, but kept in boundaries of the wholeness of what we are. So when we're connecting with our uniqueness chakra, what I want you to do is just tune into, ask yourself, what makes me unique? And tune into that chakra, tune into the energy there. Tune into, again, not what you think makes you unique, but what you feel about yourself that makes you unique. And just notice how that energy feels. Even when I talk about being unique, what comes up for you? What kind of beliefs come up? For some people, feeling unique is a pride thing, that what makes them different is what makes them feel safe from everyone else. And for other people, feeling unique can be a source of shame or fear, or again, a belief that if they're unique or different, then they're somehow less than. So pay attention to what the energy is there for you. And then take a few seconds or a few minutes, whatever feels good, to also tune in from the heart, again, moving up into the invincibility chakra, about an inch above the heart. And I see the colors that come through for me is almost like a metallic purple and iridescent colors like the greens and pinks, almost like how rainbow titanium quartz looks. That's exactly how this chakra came through to me when I saw it. It looked just like a rainbow titanium quartz, which is interesting because titanium is very strong, and this is reflective of our invincibility, what makes us uniquely invincible. And this is fueled by our ability to just survive. And when you're in survival mode, you just jump into whatever is uniquely you. It's a unique ability, just like each species survives and develops certain mechanisms that keeps them safe, and they're all unique to that species. It's the same way within us. We have unique abilities that also can help us survive. And we've had to survive because we've been in a world where we've been disconnected from the fullness of what we are. And so as you tune into this chakra, ask yourself, feel into it, and ask, what feels invincible about me? What truly feels invincible? And the energy that blocks this invincibility chakra, which again, these are so connected to our eternalness as beings, our specific expression here on this earth that has been immortalized because it always is and always has been and always will be, but we're living it out in a specific storyline. So what blocks this chakra is the belief in death, the belief in finality, the belief that things end forever. That is a belief that comes from the lack matrix, and it's a reality that we have somewhat experienced in our minds, but we've actually never experienced ending, true ending, because we still are, and we still continue. Even when aspects of us have died, other aspects have come to life. And we know, even from a physics perspective, that energy cannot be destroyed. It just changes form. And so the energy, the belief, the program that there is an ending, a final, absolute ending to something or to life itself, which is energy, that's what blocks our invincibility. That's what blocks this energy of expressing fully who we are. Now, as with the solar plexus, in our invincibility chakra, what's right above it is our throat chakra, which is our ability to express what we are, to communicate and interact with the physical dimension. And of course, as we know, words create, words bring into manifestation. And words are actually the first physical manifestation, sound is. And so the connection between your invincibility chakra and your throat chakra are key. So you're going to discover a lot this week as you tune into these two chakras. And I know this is a lot of information, and these are new chakras, so it might be a little confusing. So I just want you to, as we did last week, tune in. Write down anything that comes to you, anything that you feel, any beliefs that you may have. And what we're going to do this week is we're actually going to go back into some of the experiences we've had and clear and send light to areas where our needs have not been met, and where we have been shutting down our uniqueness, or maybe overplaying our uniqueness, depending on what side of the spectrum we play on. So we're just going to work on fine-tuning the resonance between our uniqueness and our invincibility, which, like I said, they're smaller energy streams to me, but make a huge difference. You shift these, and things can shift quite dramatically in your entire electromagnetic field. It doesn't take much of a shift, but on the same note, this is where we are most vulnerable as well. As I said, this is also connected to our tribe vibe. So where we are at war here with what we are is where we are at war with our tribe, or at war with the external reality. And this is also where strongholds and principalities can kind of hold us in certain patterns, because this is connected to survival. So these are anything connected to survival is strong, powerful energy. And these are both connected to that. So again, like I said, this represents a lot of power, and it's also the first sort of streams of energy that your heart, after just being the beingness of it is in your heart chakra, of just what you are from source, starts springing out into its unique expression of you as a human. So just feel into that. Feel how vulnerable this energy is and how absolutely stunningly powerful it is. And there's a certain sort of responsibility we have this, because like I said, our uniqueness is connected to the whole. We're not separate. We're not disconnected. We're not on an island. We're not in an ivory tower. We are connected to everyone. And specifically, our first expression of connection is with our unique tribe, which, as I mentioned, is multidimensional. This is interdimensional, multidimensional. And that is why it has such a powerful effect on us. So this synergy that we're going to be working on this week is extremely powerful. So write down any questions you have, tune in, pay attention, and I want you to build off of what you've done last week. So taking that 3 minutes a day at least, I recommend doing it in the morning or just whenever you have time to tune in, but getting it done in the morning or getting connected in the morning is key, which we'll be going into that later this week too. But spending that 3 minutes at least with your hand on your heart, feeling into it, and then feeling the energy, just stretch your heart energy out and feel into these two chakras and feel the connection there. And I want you to just allow yourself to dive into it, to go deep into it, and just feel what you feel. And write down what comes up and ask yourself any questions that you feel like are applicable. But just again, you're sort of just tuning in to get a sense of yourself, to get a sense of what you are. This is a feeling process. So let me know if you have any questions, and we'll have more on Wednesday.